you, for example, say that me from almost say me top petrol, me cheap petrol car, me say no, there's an emergency. Yeah. Okay. So how are you funded? And is it true that you charge before you administer your service?
All right, thank you. I think Monserrat is pointing to me that I
but
should
you are the boss.
So yeah, so Agredep is, you know, when you look at EMS, EMS is very expensive. When you look at the developed countries, EMS is not actually free. Okay, when people say that ambulance service is free, yes, in Ghana, it is free for our core mandate. When I was opening my statement, I talked about our core mandate. That is in pre-hospital setting. You can't go to the roadside and go and pick somebody who probably is unconscious. Why are you going to ask for money? You can't go and pick pregnant woman in the house and be expecting that woman to pay. You can't go to the farm side or at the marketplace. But there are instances whereby the central government is funding, okay, National Ambulance Service. And they buy the ambulances, they give us emergency fuel, they repair the ambulances, they pay the personnel, they give us consumables. But as we all know, resources are always scarce. The emergency fuel they give to me, they are asking me that I should use it to respond to emergencies, okay, in my catchment area. Now, Uncle Dave, somebody once, probably somebody is having a problem and he can be fixing Confornogy. The person said, I want to go to Kolibu. It is the person's choice that I want to go to Kolibu. Should I use the emergency fuel and transport the person to Kolibu and come back? And when there's RTA, I cannot attend? Would that be fair to Ghanaians? That wouldn't be fair. So I ask that. I'm not asking you to pay for anything. Pay for the fuel that I will send you to Kolibu and come back. Somebody probably needs to go for investigation, for maybe scan, is lying in a hospital at a district level. You want to go to scan. Okay, that patient could use their own means and go and do the scan. But because they want convenience, they call on the ambulance.
Is that an emergency?
That is not an emergency.
So why do you respond to it?
No, but you see, we serve people. We serve people. That is our mandate. Is
no, but the point is, it's an emergency.
Yes.
Medical service.
Yes.
Something that is not an emergency, you don't respond to it.
Yeah. So there are instances whereby it is not emergency, but the person needs certain services that is not available. Actually, in the real
forgive me. No, earlier I asked how you prioritize emergencies.
Exactly.
So this one you're talking about, someone has to go for a scan.
Yes.
And the person can go by an arranged transportation or by his or her own transport if relations are there. So if you are going to use that same fuel you have, that is not enough for a month. Yeah. If you're going to use that same vehicle, that is not, we don't have enough of. We have only 36. His is not an emergency.
Yes.
So you explain to the person that yours is not an emergency. Yes. Even if the person desires to pay for that service, it is not an emergency.
Yes. But we provide service. The hospitals are supposed to have their own ambulances to do this. And when the hospitals, those hospitals that have ambulances, they charge their patients for these services. And because some of the hospitals don't have the ambulances, they fall on the national ambulance.
Are there private ambulances available?
Yes, so the private ambulances are even more expensive than the national ambulance. We just ask that give us fuel, then we give you this service.
How do you account for that money? How sure are Ghanaians that money you take from that person?
Yes.
That money is used indeed to buy fuel, and it's not pocketed by an individual, and then at the end of the day, you use the same national fuel to do.
Yes, so Dave, we have internal generated funds. Every institution does. So those money is documented. We have auditors coming to our offices to audit us.
So if the ambulance moves, you tell the driver that we'll call for 500 not for 1,000.
Oh no. That's not how it is.
How it is?
When that is one thing that we also have. We have a central call center. So every ambulance that is moving is being dispatched by that center. Okay, it's being dispatched by that center. It's not the EMT who is in the ambulance who is telling the person who needs the services, which is not emergency, that is telling you how much you should pay.
So why can't we find a fund of a sort, like we're doing for the health insurance, where we have a fund that collectively we put monies in and then use it for your operations?
This policy issue, Uncle Dave, is policy. And I think until recently, we've been given emergency fuel, as I said. It was very difficult for us to operate. And there were times that we really didn't have fuel at all. And now, thank God, we are receiving regular fuel to operate emergencies.
If we're serious as a people, we should be having a helicopter by now.
But Uncle Dave, in fact, I must say that National Ambulance Service is one of the best in our region.
Africa,
not just West Africa, in Africa.
Give us achievements that will buttress what you're saying.
Yes, so in 20 years, we are able to have about 100% coverage of the country. There's nowhere in Ghana that there's no ambulance service. There's no district in Ghana we don't have ambulance service. In just about 20 years, we'll be able to train from about 65 to over 4,000 properly trained EMTs who are saving lives on daily basis. There, we will be able to move from just about 5 ambulances to over 300 ambulances in Ghana. I think National Ambulance Service is the only institution with training. It's paramedic and emergency care training school. It is in Ashanti Region in Kenkenso. In West Africa, that is the only training school that we have. So the ambulance service has really come a long way. We know that there are a lot for us to do, Uncle Dave, but notwithstanding, we have come.
You've come far.
A very
You've come far.
long way.
Listeners, you can call us now. We're talking to